Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Christine Kaczmar. You are listening to Smart Digestion Radio, episode 29.
What do you get when you cross Albert Einstein with digestive enzymes and a fistful of kale? Smart Digestion Radio with Dr. Christine Kaczmar, the all things diet, nutrition, vitality show for the wellness-minded.
All right, so for today, what I have lined up for you is my take on why the medical model is broken. I've mentioned some of these things many times before, but I think this is a nice, concise way for me to put it out there for you, as well as give you some examples of just why it is so broken. I really recommend you guys share this out. Let people know about this. It's a quick listen. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you on the other side. Hey, everybody. Dr. Christine here. Welcome into another edition of Smart Digestion Radio. And for today, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about a few of the reasons why the medical model is broken. So you might hear me say this all the time, or the broken medical model, or I use hashtag broken medical model, and there's a reason for it. And so the purpose of today's episode is to get a little deeper into just exactly why I say the medical model is broken. So let's get into it. All right. So the very first thing that I like to tell people about why the medical model is broken is by using a metaphor. And so I want you to imagine that you have a garbage dump, the nastiest, stinkiest, filthiest, most disgusting garbage dump. And let's now pretend that this garbage dump is infested with rats, right? If I'm a medical doctor, my mindset is, if I have a garbage dump full of rats, my medical mindset is, okay, the problem is the rats. Let's kill the rats. If I'm a wellness-oriented doctor, I look at this problem differently. I see a garbage dump full of rats, and I know that the problem is not the rats. The problem is the garbage. So I need to clean up the garbage, right? So here we're really talking about treating symptoms, meaning killing the rats. This is what the medical profession wants to do. They see this problem as the rats are the problem. That's what they do with their medications. Meaning if somebody has heartburn, their first response is, let's go after, quote unquote, treating the symptom with a proton pump inhibitor or Nexium or Prilosec. These drugs, by the way, highly increase your chance of having a stroke. This is true. A wellness mindset is to find out and identify what is the true cause here. In my example of heartburn, it's most often emotional stress. It's most often mucosal lining is in disrepair. It's most often that the lower esophageal sphincter is too loose. It's too flaccid. It's not as tonified anymore. The solution then, as a wellness perspective, or looking at it from cause, is to clean up the diet, to give food and nutrients and herbs that are going to support the mucosal lining and lay down mucus, like slippery elm, marshmallow root, things like this, papaya leaf. It's going to be giving astringent herbs like dandelion, arugula, ginger, peppermint, okay? They're going to help to tonify that sphincter, the lower esophageal sphincter. In summary, why we have such an amazing problem in our society is that we judge our health by our symptoms. And the medical model loves that. They want you to judge your health by symptoms. They want you to know that when you have stiff, achy joints, that you go for Motrin. They want you to, when you have a headache, that you take aspirin. They want you to take things like Advil or Tylenol when you have any kind of aches or pains. They want you to take things like Prilosec and Nexium when you have heartburn. Okay? They have a pill and a potion for every symptom. And this is the problem with our society, is that we judge our health by our symptoms. And I'm here to tell you that your health has nothing to do with your symptoms. Your health has everything to do with how well your body functions. In other words, how close are you to homeostasis or balance? And so this is what matters, is how well your body functions. I can give you examples where you have, if I'm vomiting after a meal, is that a healthy response or is that a sick response? The medical model will think and try to convince you that vomiting is a sick response. No, it isn't. If you're vomiting, that's your body's innate intelligence. That is your body's amazing, elegant machinery identifying that there is something in your body that does not belong, and it is quickly trying to remove it. Another example is a fever. If I have a fever, is that a healthy response or is that a sick response? The broken medical model will want you to think that that is a sick response. No, it isn't. Once again, if you have a fever, this is an amazingly healthy response. It's a necessary response because your body is so brilliant that your hypothalamus can identify, hey, we have too much bacteria here. Hey, we have too much invaders here. Let's jack up the temperature. Let's elevate the temperature now so that we can kill as many of these bad guys as possible. Brilliant. Who are we to think that our human educated minds are anywhere near as intelligent as the human body itself? That's a very arrogant thing when we think that our body is stupid and our laboratory scientists are smarter. To me, I find that to be really disgusting, quite frankly. So now I've just given you two examples, vomiting and fever, which are actually healthy responses. But now I'm going to give you the converse. And I'm going to say to you, what if you feel well? What if you have no symptoms? Does that mean you're healthy also? The answer is no, it doesn't. Because health has nothing to do with how well you feel. So if you're sick, quote unquote sick, and you have a fever or you're vomiting, you're not sick. Right? Your body is actually responding very, very properly through the process and the cycle and the system of removing that debris. That's a healthy response. Yes, you don't feel well, but you're operating out of a healthy paradigm. The opposite is, if you feel well, does that mean you're healthy? No, because do you feel calcium deficiency? Do you feel the development of a tumor growing? Do you feel if your body is overly acidic? No. So I've given you both sides of the coin where you can't judge your health by how well you feel. Whether you feel lousy or whether you feel healthy, that doesn't necessarily infer that you are, in fact, healthy. Health is homeostasis, a state of balance. So let me take this a little bit further. And let me prove to you even more how the medical model is broken. And how I'm going to show that to you is by saying these things. How do you spell relief? ROLAIDS, right? Especially anyone listening that's over 40. What is the pink stuff you use if you have an upset stomach? Pepto-Bismol. What is the purple pill? You probably are thinking Prilosec, Nexium. Both would be correct. What's the blue triangular pill for men? You probably know Viagra, right? So what I've just shown you is that I could choose colors and shapes and you automatically know the drug I'm referring to. That's very clever. But it's also very intentional. So when it comes to prescription meds, here's what you might find shocking. And that is in the United States of America, in 2013, Americans spent $329.2 billion on prescription meds. That's staggering. $329.2 billion on prescription meds. If you break that down per American, that's $1,000 every American is spending toward prescription meds. That's catastrophic, in my opinion. That is the American public buying into the broken medical model. And that is thinking that they need to reach for prescription meds to treat certain symptoms when prescription medications are never, ever going to heal your body. Let me say that again. Prescription medications are never, ever going to heal your body. They're only going to cover up symptoms, block enzymatic processes, and they're going to pollute your body in other ways, creating disruption to your liver, your kidneys, your blood, all of that.
All right, everybody, this episode is brought to you by Omega Digestion. OmegaDigestion.com. This is my company. It's doctor formulated, custom formulated products. I have 3 products in my line right now. If you'd like to learn more about them, go to bit.ly/Omega Profile. That's bit.ly/Omega Profile. At Omega Digestion, our mission is to bring plant-based enzyme nutrition and healing botanicals out of the perplexing chemistry class and into the mainstream lunchrooms and family tables. We are working to reintroduce the essential necessities food has on healing, repairing, and nourishing our bodies. By developing an effective, filler-free, and affordable product line, we aim to support the incredible importance digestive health has on millions of people. To check out our 3 products, go to OmegaDigestion.com/smart for a special offer. That's OmegaDigestion.com/smart.
Prescription medications don't bring your body toward homeostasis for the most part. They can't. They're not natural to the human body. The real medicine is food, fats, carbs, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and enzymes. So another reason why the medical model is broken is that the biggest pharmaceutical companies are spending more money on marketing their prescription drugs than they are on the safety and efficacy of these drugs. As an example, Johnson & Johnson. In 2013, they spent $17.5 billion marketing their products, and only a fraction of that on safety and research and development, $8.2 billion. Novartis spent $14.6 billion on marketing, and only a fraction of that, $9.9 billion, on research and development. Pfizer spent $11.4 billion marketing their products, and close to half of that, $6.6 billion, on research and development. GlaxoSmithKline, $9.9 billion marketing their products, and a fraction of that, $5.3 billion, on research and development. Merck, $9.5 billion sales and marketing, $7.5 billion on research and development. And the list goes on and on. This should confound you. This should worry you. This should irritate you, because this is exactly the reason why I can say the colors and shapes of pills, and you know what I'm referencing, because of the marketing dollar is there. Keep in mind that Big Pharma is the biggest monopoly in the world, even bigger than big oil. The next reason why I say the medical model is broken is that it's a one-size-fits-all approach. So let's take cholesterol as an example. Are you aware that these doctors meet, these scientists meet, and they determine the number, the total cholesterol number, where they are going to determine whether or not they should recommend statins? And this number keeps falling. And it's really troublesome because cholesterol is necessary. Cholesterol is amazing. The medical model vilifies cholesterol. They want you to think that cholesterol is good or bad based on your HDL or your LDL, when in fact, it's not cholesterol's fault at all that somebody's cholesterol is elevated. Has nothing to do with it being bad or good. It has to do with what's going on with this person's gut, what's going on with this person's diet, what's going on with how well this person is digesting fat, what's going on with how well this person is digesting carbs and proteins, all of it. Again, we're not looking at the true cause of why someone may have an elevated cholesterol. Elevated is up for grabs. I mean, who determines this? Dr. David Perlmutter, an MD, wrote the book Grain Brain. I highly recommend you guys take a look at that book, because his research in the book that he compiled supports that people who have cholesterol over 200, as they age, their cognitive function, their memory, all of that is better than those whose cholesterol is under 200. Why would that be? Well, first I want you to understand something. You have a lot of cholesterol in the brain. You have cholesterol around every cell in your body. We need it. But that's not what the medical profession wants you to think, right? And so when you're taking things like a statin drug, you are in effect drying up your brain. And this is why we're seeing so much brain fog, why we're seeing so much Alzheimer's. We're seeing all of these things because these statin drugs are very disruptive to the overall homeostasis and balance of the human body. The one-size-fits-all approach, as I've applied it to cholesterol, is applicable elsewhere. We can talk about blood pressure. We can talk about what's going on with someone's diet, right? Even to this day, in 2017, I still have patients come into my office who say to me, and I specialize in Crohn's, colitis, severe constipation, all of that. I have patients who come into my office and sit down and say to me that their doctor said they can eat whatever they want, that their diet has nothing to do with their Crohn's. It's shocking. It's shocking. So the medical profession is broken. The one-size-fits-all approach is just not how it is. We are all uniquely individualistic in our chemistry. We are all uniquely individualistic in how we process and digest, transport, utilize, and excrete nutrition. The next example of how the medical model is broken is their arrogant statement of these drugs are necessary, that the body does not know how to heal itself. In fact, I had a conversation with a medical doctor on Twitter, and I'm going to read to you her quote. And we were having a debate about vaccines. Clearly, she supports vaccines. She's a pediatrician. I am very opposed to vaccines, especially the schedule of vaccines. There are way too many vaccines being given. I think I received something like 5 or 6 when I was younger. I was vaccinated. Today, children are receiving over 50 vaccines. This doctor said, the human body is indeed cool, but it is very ignorant at times when confronted with germs. Yes, vaccines work and are needed, she writes. the medical model is broken. These doctors are very influenced by the pharmaceutical reps, the insurance industry, big pharma. All of this have a lot to dictate what's going on with what a medical doctor is saying. In fact, back when I was in chiropractic school, back in the 90s, there were drug ads in my textbooks then. I can only imagine that the infiltration of the medical paradigm and this juggernaut that is big pharma, I can only imagine how much of a presence they now have of textbooks of students going through school. And so again, why is the medical model broken? It's because their primary focus is on treating symptoms. It is because they spend more money on marketing and selling their product than they do on the research, development, and efficacy and safety of their products. That they feel that there is only a one-size-fits-all approach. And the medical model is broken because they assume that the human body is ignorant and needs these pills to bring it back to health. These pills are not foods. They are not foods. I would like to know what you think about what I've talked about on my podcast today. Please leave me an email. Send me an email and let me know what you think. My email is support@thedigestiondoctor.com. support@thedigestiondoctor.com. I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Alrighty then, another episode of Smart Digestion Radio is in the books. However, the conversation never stops there. Great hubs to connect with me are going to be my Facebook page, which is The Digestion Doc. That's my handle on Twitter and Instagram as well. If you are interested in joining my community, my private inner circle over on Facebook, go to healthyrebelsfb.com. That's healthyrebelsfb.com. And my other main sites are thedigestiondoctor.com and omegadigestion.com. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being a part of the mission. My mission is to save 5 million lives from the broken medical model, and I cannot do it alone. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.